Trump wasn't trying to, bring about the downfall of Western civilization like some of these socialist candidates are. I've been amused at the infighting in New York City today. I saw a video last night in one of these victory parties of a room full of young white socialists screaming at a television with Hakeem Jeffries on it, who's poised, by the way, to possibly become the first black Speaker of the House, going, "You're next, you're next, you're next. You're next, you're next, you're next, you're next,
you're next." We're saying you're next about Hakeem Jeffries. You're next, you're next, you're next. You can't think this is a positive development in New York politics, can you? And they'll just, Dems will be Dems.
Ladies and gentlemen, is he next? Because Frankenstein has come to kill their creator. The Democrats created this monster. They allowed and embraced the anti-Semitism, the Free Palestine crowd, the pro-Hamas crowd. They embraced all of that in desperation because they just wanted to defeat Trump and the Republicans so badly. And now look at them. Now they're out here getting cooked because, like I mentioned in the last video, Zohran Mamdani is 3 for 3.
A big night for New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani, taking on the Democratic establishment, putting his political influence on the line and helping hand-picked candidates get to primary wins that now call into question the ideological future of the Democratic Party itself. Mamdani tapping 3 candidates who ran to the left of their Democratic opponents, who were endorsed by more establishment figures like House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, all 3 of them winning, and 2 even unseating sitting Democratic members of Congress like Dan Goldman, who was beaten by former New York City Comptroller Brad Lander in a race that focused around the war in Gaza and Goldman's support for Israel. Mamdani's endorsement also helping Democratic Socialist Daraliza Avila Chevalier beat sitting Democratic Congressman Adriano Espaillat. That was a tight race. After last night, Mamdani's endorsement clear, its weight of it clear in New York City, but it's unclear exactly how far his influence extends beyond deep blue New York City.
My question is how you're going to work with some of these folks. I want to just read you. This is from the Wall Street Journal. This is Chevalier, who, as you know, just won, was the leader of the anti-Israel protests at Columbia University after the 2023 Hamas massacre. She was for Hamas, they write. She called for abolishing police, prisons, and borders. She called Joe Biden a rapist and a war criminal, and said that the U.S. Is occupied Native American land, and called the country a F-ing disgrace, and also favors seizing private property. What do you make of that?
Her views are clearly not my views, and that should be obvious to everyone. In terms of what brings Democrats together, listen, we believe that we've got to drive down the high cost of living.
Now, Hakeem Jeffries is over here coping, acting as though they're not coming for his head next. These people want Democrat heads on a fence post. The party's being taken over by the radicals. The inmates are taking over the asylum, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and react to this interview here where Hakeem Jeffries gets asked this question and gets humiliated. By the way, guys, there's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype videos. So be sure to like the video, hype the video. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you.
You're on, and you said almost the same thing that you just said, and we all nod. And I know it takes time from the interview and everything, but it doesn't really answer the question that Andrew said. We all agree with what you just said, but it totally shifted from what we're talking about, is whether when the Democratic Party includes someone in that tent that believes these things, I don't think any of those things are going to solve what you just talked about, or an answer to any of our problems that you delineate so eloquently. They were saying, "You're next," about Hakeem Jeffries. You're next. You're next. You're next. You can't think this is a positive development in New York politics, can you? And they'll just, Dems will be Dems or something like that. I don't see how you can say that. You need to reject those things. I think.
First of all, I've clearly rejected those things. That's number one. Number two,
when? Maybe you could argue you're doing it right now, but I haven't seen it.
The record speaks for itself. This is not a Dems will be Dems situation. Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America right now. Are you kidding me? He just actually detonated a bipartisan housing bill that would help build housing.
And now here we go talking about Trump again. This is these people's problem, guys. They can't shut the hell up for 2 seconds about President Trump. Your whole party's imploding. You're losing guys. You're losing your team. You're losing your army. And you sitting over here talking about Trump? You got to be kidding me. What difference does it make if your team wins if you're not even on the damn team anymore? They kicking you and your people off, you freaking idiot.
In this country that is affordable for everyday Americans.
Let's see if he says anything else
drowning
interesting.
and suffocating in Donald Trump and the Republicans' failed economy. He's the president right now. And so I'm happy to talk about primary elections in one of the bluest cities in the country. At the end of the day, listen, our focus is going to be on ending this national nightmare in this country that America is suffering. A reckless and costly war of choice that skyrocketed gas prices, the failure to lower costs, which Donald Trump promised that he would do, and a whole host of other challenges.
Hakeem, some Republicans were gloating about what happened because it makes, this could be detrimental to your efforts to do what you just said, to make, to an elected Democrat in 2028.
What is true in New York City in a Democratic primary ain't necessarily true nationwide with the general electorate. I mean, just take a look here. Net favorable rating of Democrat Socialists. If you look at Democrats nationwide, look at this. Democrat Socialists are on the positive side of the ledger at plus 17 points. This includes Democratic-leaning independents. But look at all voters. A completely different world. 27 points underwater Democratic Socialists of America are in the net favorable rating. So what are we talking about? A 44-point difference here in the wrong direction when we come to Democratic Socialists of America, jumping from being pretty popular among Democrats to being not popular at all among all voters.
What about just the word socialist or socialism? How's that doing?
Yeah, okay. So, one of the trends that we have seen is among Democrats, socialism has become more popular over the last decade and a half. But what about the rest of the electorate? And this, I think, gives the game away right here. Okay, positive view of socialism. Among Democrats, look at this. Up considerably from where we were in 2010, 50% to now 66% now. That's a jump of 16 points in a decade and a half. But look at all others. The number is the same. It was 29% back in 2010. It's 30% now. Socialism has become increasingly popular among Democrats, but it is a much tougher sell in the rest of the electorate. It's a much tougher sell among independents.
To elect one in 2028, this might not be the greatest thing that people are witnessing, that normal people around the rest of the country say, what happened to the Democratic Party? That's my only point.
Yeah, I think that people are going to be concerned about the failure of Republicans to actually do the things they promised to do on the economy.
This guy's a joke. I hope that these radical socialists actually do beat Jeffries. There's a reason why these people are able to come to prominence, guys. For one thing, it's because these idiots allowed it. And as you can see, Jeffries is still doing it. He's still sitting up here focused exclusively on Trump instead of trying to distance himself vehemently from these radicals. Most people, even though Jeffries did endorse other Democrats, like Dan Goldman, for example, these people aren't denouncing the Democrats who are winning, these Democrat socialist types who want to abolish police, abolish prisons, abolish borders and ICE. They're not denouncing these people. Jeffries is saying, well, I clearly have announced it. When?
So with respect to races where he may have endorsed a different candidate, we have agreed to strongly disagree, and we put it into the hands of the people of New York to decide what's the best path forward.
Is he making a mistake by trying to point at a caucus so sharply to the left?
Well, that's a question you have to direct to him. There are 215 members of the House Democratic Caucus. A handful of primaries that go in one direction or the other in a given state or two aren't going to reshape who we are as House Democrats. As House Democrats, we've been very clear. What brings us together is a focus on driving down the high cost of living, fixing our broken healthcare system, and cleaning up corruption.
I just sat up here for about 2 hours looking over clip after clip after clip. I can't find Jeffries denouncing these radicals one time. Now, if you guys have seen it, feel free to let me know, but I haven't seen it. The closest thing I've seen it is him in this video saying, I have done it, which is obviously implying that he does not support the things that they're saying, but he did not clearly say, I don't support abolishing the police. I don't support abolishing prisons. I don't support abolishing borders. I do or don't support abolishing ICE. He didn't explicitly say any of those things. I can't find anything close to that. So it's like, what the hell are you talking about? This is the reason why these radicals were able to come to power, is because the people who they have, this guy is the minority leader, and he's out here acting like he's basically bitch made. I hate to use the language, but that's it. It just had to come out, guys, because he's acting like a loser. When you have a bunch of people in their party who are so obsessed with one man, President Trump, and not obsessed with people who are trying to basically destroy every government institution that keeps Americans safe, police and borders and prisons, keep Americans safe. These people are radicals. They're Looney Tunes. They don't stand a chance in 2028 with people like this coming into power and the Democrats not being able to answer to it and not being able to denounce it, because they're going to say, we think you're in on this. You're not denouncing these people. You're accepting and embracing these. Well, we're a big tent party. You're a big tent party for people that want to abolish prisons, police, borders. What the hell is wrong with these people, guys? This guy's a feckless loser. And I actually agree with the Democrat Socialists of America on at least at one point. Hakeem Jeffries is next, but that's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm out. Shout out to my members, patrons, and fellow anomalies: Cyber Noodle, 655, The Great, Bella Scott, Carpentier John, and Pinecone 6. I appreciate you guys every single day.
You know, the Democrat leader here in the House was booed at some of these return parties last night. Districts were booing him, and they shouted, "You're next." Hakeem Jeffries has a tall task ahead of him right now. He's got to go out and somehow make a credible pitch to Democrat establishment donors that that's a good national investment right now. That's a tough one to make. The Democrat Party, the Socialists, the Marxists have nominated some of the most radical candidates to ever run for office, and they're running for Congress. The insurgent left is on the rise.